Good morning and welcome to Live Without Limits, the Success Shift. Think like your future self. I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and today we're talking about something that determines the direction of your life more than anything else. How do you define yourself? Not what you've been through, not what other people say about you, not even what you've done in the past, but the identity that you choose to live from right now. Who are you today? When you look in that mirror, what do you see? But the identity that you choose to live from this moment on, because here's the truth. You don't become your future self someday. You become your future self the moment you decide who you are. And most people are living from an identity they never consciously choose. Because what do? We have the significant other people in our lives, parents, teachers, friends, telling us what they see. And what they see is their image of you, not your true self. Only you know who your true self is. I don't know how many times I had a mother that would sit there and say to me, "You're going to fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail." But what did I do? I finally, at one time, said to her, "You know what? You have no idea who I am, so you need to just shut up." Because that's all she was negative. All she did was find fault. Even if that was my true self or not, that is what she saw, because that's what she saw when she looked in the mirror. So to make her feel better, she was always putting that image onto someone else. Remember that. And the most people are living from an identity they never consciously chose, an identity shaped by past experiences, other people's opinions, failures, fear. And remember, whenever you feel or experience failure, look at it as a stepping stone, not the end result. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change, because you can't create a new life. An identity. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about what self definition is, and what and how your identity shapes your results, why most people stay stuck, and how to step into your future self now. So let's get into it. Remember, what we're talking about here is you, how you can change who you are. Because, we all have that image that we project to other people, and we also have our true selves. Because if you've ever taken assessment profiles, they will give you a good idea of what's your mask, what's your true self, and what other people around you see. So what is self-definition? Self-definition is simply this: the way you describe who you are. It's the story that you tell yourself about yourself. Statements like, "I'm not confident, I'm shy, I'm not good at business, I'm not a leader, I always struggle." Remember, when we talk about things like the laws of attraction or affirmations, these are the things that you hear in your head. And they're also the things that you internalize and start telling yourself over and over again. So remember, if you're saying, I'm not a leader, I always struggle, that's because someone has put it in your head and it's what you see what you've convinced yourself that you are, not who you really are. So here's what's important to understand. These are not facts. They are decisions. Decisions that you made often unconsciously based on past experiences. And remember this, what you experience today changes you. You are not the same person you are yesterday, today, and you will not be the same person tomorrow because the experiences you have today affect who you are. And this is how we change from day to day. This is how we grow from day to day. Remember that little child who was so open and just absorbing everything like a sponge? And then as they begin to go in and get an education, their what seems so wide all of a sudden becomes smaller and smaller, and it becomes tunnel vision because these are the things that you've been told almost consciously day by day. So maybe something didn't work out once and you turned it into, this is just who I am. But here's the truth. You are not your past experiences. You are not your past results. You are not anything other than the meaning that you attach to them. And that meaning becomes your identity. The identity that you project to the people around you, or the things that you say about yourself, and how you express it. So, your identity creates your reality. This is so important to understand. Your inner voice is telling you what to see. Now, what our heart sees and what our eyes see are two different things. And how you relate to all of this determines how you see yourself. Your identity creates your reality. Your identity drives everything, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your results. So let me break this down and help you understand exactly what we mean and how you can begin to understand exactly how your identity equals your thoughts. If your identities are not confident, then you do not have a confident posture. You are not projecting confidence to the people around you. Your thoughts will be, what if I mess up? I'm not ready. People will judge me. So remember that when you're thinking about your thoughts, right? Your thoughts, your identity is your thoughts, and your thoughts become your emotions. These thoughts create fear, doubt, anxiety. Because remember, you're putting a lot of stress on yourself. You're not telling yourself what you should be telling yourself. And it increases the anxiety that you're feeling at any given moment. Now, your emotions determine your actions, and these emotions lead to playing small, avoiding opportunities, staying quiet. Also, remember this, what we have within our personality is, when I talk about the disc, The dominant personality, that's someone that is very outgoing. They feel they can control their environment. Then you also have the I, which gives you very strong interpersonal skills. Then you also have the steadiness, and that allows you to be able to study and learn how to take tests and do well on tests. Then you got the C personality, that is the conscientious personality, and that's someone that questions everything until they understand exactly what they mean. And here's the kicker, we have all of these within us. These are the four pure, but they're intermingled and they give us 16 different personalities. Some of them are our strengths, some of them are our weaknesses, but we need to learn how to move between these. And by doing that, what does that allow you to do? That allows you to take the action. So here's what we mean when we say emotions equal actions. And those emotions lead to playing small, avoiding opportunities, and staying quiet, which means that if you're in a room with other people, you're going to allow them to talk and you will not speak up, even though you very well may have something to say that is important and can benefit someone else. Now, your actions equal results, and this leads to you lack of growth, missed opportunities, and reinforced self doubt. Remember this. This is what creates our self doubt, questioning ourselves. And should we be in a position to truly move ahead in where we are and how we relate to the people around us and the environment around us? The identity loop. Identity equals thoughts, equals emotions, equals actions, equals results, and it reinforces your identity. So let's talk about this again. We're talking about the identity loop. There's your identity, there's your thoughts, there's your emotions, then there's your actions, your results, and then your reinforced identity, because that's what it all leads up to. How you reinforce the identity that you see or that people have given to you, and how do you turn it into your true identity. This is why change feels hard, because you're trying to change your life without changing who you believe you are. Remember, you are the one who controls your life. Recognize it and come forth to deal with it. Now, why most people stay stuck? Most people are trying to change their life by changing their actions. They say, I need to be more consistent. I need to be more disciplined. I need to be more confident. Now, remember, when you come out of your parent, that parent, remember the things your parent used to tell you, you should, you should. They say you should be more consistent, you should be more disciplined, you should be more confident, but they don't tell you how to get there. Well, what's happening? They are basically not teaching you the skills you need in order to put it all together, but they're still identifying as someone who is procrastinates, someone who lacks discipline, someone who isn't confident. And here's the problem: your identity will always override your effort. So even if you push yourself temporarily, you'll fall back to what feels familiar because your brain wants consistency, not growth, not consistency, even if that consistency keeps you stuck. Remember, when you're setting goals, what are you doing? You're working on those goals, but all of a sudden you're going, put the brakes on and stop even trying because we're afraid to move out of that comfort zone. And what is your comfort zone? How are you going to move into it, to build on it, to change? Only you can take yourself from where you are now to where you want to be. Because if you choose not to change, if you choose to stay exactly where you are, no amount of help can help you change to get where you want to be. It's all in where you are now, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. So let's look at the shift, choosing your identity and living with your identity. Here's where everything changes. You get to choose your identity, not based on your past, but based on your future. So ask yourself, who do I want to become? Not what do I want to achieve, but who do I need to be? Because success is not just about what you do, it's about who you are being. And here's the key for all of us to look at: you don't wait to become that person, you decide to be that person. Now, when we talked earlier about different personalities and and how to move between them, when we are relating to people around us, we're looking at this. Where do I come from? What image do I want others to see? Am I going to be the leader I want to be? Now, it's also in your mindset. And that mindset is there based on the fact of what people have told you about yourself and buying into it. And this is where the laws of attraction comes into, because if you constantly say things that are negative to yourself, then that is what you're putting out into the universe. If you change your thinking and start changing the message that you're putting out and making it more positive, then what's happening? You're going to attract to yourself those things you truly want that are good, not the bad. And then you're going to take it and change it and make it work for you. How to become your future self now. Remember, this is what we are working for, helping you get from where you are today to where you want to be in the future so that you can be the person you truly want to be. So let's make this practical. Define your future self. Get clear on how does your future self think? How do they act? What do they believe about themselves? What standards do they hold? For example, your future self might be confident, decisive, consistent, focused, resilient. Okay? Write those words down. Then think about What will make you become more decisive? How can you help yourself become more decisive? How do you become more focused on a goal and work on that goal to achieve that goal? Are you going to let someone else decide what your goals for you are? Or are you going to choose your own goals? And remember this, working on a goal does not mean you're going to take a straight road, because that straight road may come with roadblocks to it that leads to failure. If you look at it as a stepping stone instead of a, a reinforcement of the messages that you've given yourself, then you're beginning to get out of what's your comfort zone and move from your comfort zone into where you feel uncomfortable, but it also helps you get beyond those limiting beliefs that you've given yourself. Choose your new identity. Turn that into identity statements. I am someone who follows through. I am confident in my decisions. I show up even when it's uncomfortable. I trust myself. Now, from the things that we've been saying, if you've ever heard the affirmations and how to say an affirmation, then these are things that were the messages that were given you to say, I am confident in my decisions. I show up even when it's uncomfortable. I trust myself. You know, you can't trust someone else until you begin to trust yourself. So think from that identity. Before you act, ask, what would my future self think of this situation? Because your thoughts shape your behavior. Act from that identity. This is where transformation happens. Ask yourself, what would my future self do right now? And then do that, even if it feels uncomfortable, because your identity is built through action. Remember this, if you don't take action, you can't change. Nothing will change unless you actually start doing something. Reinforce your everything daily. This is why they say take your affirmations and put them on a mirror. And every morning when you get up and wash your face or brush your teeth, look at those affirmations and repeat them to yourself over and over again, because this is the best way to reinforce it daily. Repetition creates your identity. So every day, remind yourself who you are becoming. Only you can change who you are. Only you can make those decisions. So remind yourself who you are becoming. You speak it, you write it, and you act on it, because the more you act, the more you act, natural it becomes who you are and who you see. Closing the gap between where you are and who you're becoming. This is truly how we change and become that person that we want to be, and how we see everyone and how they react to us. So, right now, there's a gap between your current identity, your future self, and the gap feels uncomfortable. That's where doubt shows up, fear shows up, resistance shows up. But here's what you need to understand. that discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're growing. And remember when I said that the experiences we have today changes who we become tomorrow? And each day, because you're not the same person you were a year ago, you're not going to be that same person in another year. So this is this is where we're trying to get to, teaching you how to understand and accept and use the right language to reinforce those changes in your daily life. So that comfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're growing. Your brain is trying to pull you back to what's familiar, and that's your comfort zone. But your future self is pulling you forward. We all have something pulling us forward from day to day. Are you and your job is to choose comfort or growth, familiar or transformation, because you can't stay in the same place that you are and expect your life to change, because nothing changes if you don't put an effort into it. So let's reflect for a moment. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, how have I been defining myself? And is that definition helping me? Is it changing who I am today? Is it going to put us where you want to be tomorrow? And then ask yourself, is it also holding me back? Then ask, who do I choose to become? Because the moment you choose your identity, everything begins to shift. And only you can make things shift. If there's one thing I want you to take from today's episode, it's this. You are not waiting to become your future self. You become your future self the moment you decide who you are. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when things are perfect, but now. So today, I want you to make a decision. Who are you? Not based on your past, but based on your future. And then start living from that identity. Is this episode resonated with you? Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And take one action today that aligns with you and your future self, because transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens one decision at a time. Remember this. I can tell you a story about myself that growing up with a disability, I was constantly told, you can't live on your own. You can't think for yourself. You can't hold a job. But you know what? I could either have accepted the things they were telling me, or I could have made a choice to become the person I wanted to be. And because I wanted independence and I wanted to be able to live the life I wanted to live, I made the choice that if someone waved a red flag in front of me and told me I couldn't do it, that was their way of daring me to prove them wrong. So this is Davida Shinsky, and this is Live Without Limits, the success shift. Think like your future self, where you don't wait to become who you are and who you were meant to be. We decide. And remember this, I will see you in the next week at the same time and the same place. And I look forward to giving you some more anecdotes that can help you become the best person you were meant to be.